Meanwhile, the debate over voter ID laws will be decided at the ballot box this November. And today, Nebraska Secretary of State made a stop in Omaha to gather public comment. 3 News Now reporter Alex Whitney has the details for us tonight.
Before votes were even cast in the 2020 election, there was rampant speculation and accusations of voter fraud tipping the scales in the election. Multiple investigations in several states have found no evidence of widespread voter fraud, but concerns over its potential are still at the top of many voters' minds.
Yeah, I support it because I think everyone on both sides needs to have more confidence that their votes counted and they were counted correctly and the outcomes represent the will of the voters. And I think voter ID is one step in that direction. I don't think it's the final step, but I think it's one step in that direction.
Warnicke was amongst a number of people who joined Secretary of State Bob Evnen at a hearing for Initiative 432, which if passed will require a photo ID before casting a ballot. For Warnicke, 432 is a small step to secure our elections, and unlike many supporters of 432, Warnicke doesn't believe the claims that the 2020 election was stolen.
I don't know that there's widespread voter fraud in Nebraska. I think prevention is a good thing, though.
Opponents to 432 aren't convinced the measure will improve election security. Many testified about the unintended consequences of photo ID requirements that can lead to disenfranchisement of eligible voters, something that Ernie Boykin says she has experienced firsthand.
Well, the Voting Rights Act was passed in 1965. I could not vote until that was passed, so I was 23 years old when I had the right to vote.
Boykin, along with several others, testified how voter ID requirements can disproportionately affect minority communities, and said it comes dangerously close to a poll tax, which the 24th Amendment of the Constitution specifically prohibits.
When you want to have a voter initiative, a voter ID, they say it's not a poll tax. You have to buy your ID. You have to buy all your documentation before you get your ID so that you can vote. So it's a poll tax, and we don't need to go back to that.
One concern shared by both supporters and opponents to 432 was how the requirement would be implemented should it pass. Right now, no one knows what implementation would look like. The language of the initiative only asks voters if they want to amend the Constitution. The specifics of that would be left up to the unicameral.
The nuts and bolts of it will be left to the legislature. We do know that there's over 35 states around the country that have some form of voter ID. So in the event it would pass, there's a roadmap that I would hope the legislatures would look at and go by that, and I'm sure they will.
From Omaha, Alex Whitney, 3 News Now.
Voters will decide on voter ID laws when they head to the polls for the upcoming midterm elections. That election is on November 8th.